Hello, sports fans. Welcome to DDM Sports Central, your one-stop shop for global juicy sporting stories. Like I told you, it will not be an everyday news package. Today on the program, I have a guest with me to look at the Champions League, the UEFA Champions League semi-final stages. That we have some very exciting teams and promises to have very exciting matches as well. Before I introduce my guest, we'll take a short break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is still DDM Sports Central. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. This is DDM Sports Central. Now, like I said earlier, we are into the semi-final stages of the UEFA Champions League 2024-2025 season. And with me in the studio to discuss the semi-final stages, the teams that we have in the semi-finals, is no other than the unapologetic, no, scratch that. I don't want to be using unapologetic again. Champions League only reach hot stage, so that unapologetic don't melt. So I'm going to say the prophet of DDM Sports Central. He's not a person than Mr. Prophet Ibrahim Wase.
Thank you for having me.
Prophet Ibrahim, you're welcome to the show. Okay, and thank you for always coming around. Now, Ibrahim, let's get down to business. We have 4 teams now in the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. Of these 4 teams, 2 have won it previously, 2 have not. Please don't forget. Don't let this just deceive you. It's not a Manchester City fan. It's an Arsenal fan. So, but we are hoping that in no distant time, he'll be rejoicing. He has prophesied that his team will win the Champions League. So, your team is part of those 2 teams that has not won it or that have not won it. Barcelona and Inter Milan will face each other, so they'll cancel themselves out. And then Arsenal will be taking on PSG. So in the finals, we are going to be having one team that has won it before and one that has not won it before. Let's look at, before we go to your own team, because I know if I leave him, he's going to analyze only Arsenal for the remaining part of the game. The program. So let's start with Barcelona and Inter Milan. Barcelona, what are their chances? Let's look at their chances at getting through to the final stage of the UEFA Champions League this season.
All right. Once again, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It is a very, should I say, fair final for the first time, whereby you can hardly predict which side will go through in the Champions League semi-final. Barcelona and Inter Milan, the clash of the titans. You're talking about one club that have 5 Champions League title and the one with 3 Champions League title.
Yeah. Inter
Milan won their last Champions League title 15 years ago. Barcelona won their last Champions League title 10 years ago. That was 2010. Inter Milan won the Champions League. Barcelona 2015. Yes. Barcelona reached the Champions League final last Champions League semi-final last 2019. And Inter Milan played in the Champions League final just a season before last season.
Yeah.
So they are clubs with all it takes to be in the Champions League final. And one thing you have to understand about these 2 sides is the fact that Inter Milan has the formidable defense, while Barcelona have that fluid attack. So it's a game of attack versus defense. So who is going to emerge victorious at the long run? That's the question.
Yeah.
Barcelona have the likes of Rafinha in his all-time form, because some people think that he should be the Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
And we have Lamine Yamal, the only player that gave us the sparks of Lionel Andres Messi. So, with this caliber of player, anything can happen. Although they have a big miss in Lewandowski. Lewandowski got injured and he's going to miss the first leg of the Champions League. But Inter Milan, on the other hand, lost Thuram, who happened to be the partner in crime to Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah.
So it's a miss also for them in their side. So it will be an exciting game to watch, and sentiment aside, you can hardly predict what is going to happen. Most especially considering the fact that before the Champions League first leg, before the Champions League semi-final, Barcelona are going to play in the Copa del Rey final.
Yeah.
Playing against Real Madrid that they beat 2 times this season. Their biggest rivals.
Yeah.
What if one of their players got injured? The pressure. What if they lose that final, Copa del Rey final? It would demoralize them psychologically. So I'm looking at it from all lenses.
But what if, because if you ask me, if it may be a thing of priority now, they could decide on their own, okay, we have a Copa del Rey just a few days after the first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. And they decide that, okay, on our own, let's sacrifice the Copa del Rey. It's just that we may now be looking at pedigree, ego, reputation, rivalry that has been between the two teams.
It's not even practical in football for you to start thinking that maybe we'll sacrifice this trophy for this trophy.
Okay.
No, it's not practical. And the thing is, these players need to win. They must have to win to get the courage, to get the confidence, to go for another game.
But won't it fuck them out? I'm looking at it from that angle. Won't they get tired? Won't they get overstretched?
Yeah, definitely.
Because definitely any match
you can't play your second team. You can't play your second team against Real Madrid
at all.
And any El Clasico game is a tough game.
Always.
So definitely, And Barcelona, they are not only fighting for Copa del Rey, they are also fighting for La Liga. Yeah. Because they are just few points.
Just 4 points.
Yes, just few points above Real Madrid, and anything can happen. So this stress, and they have to play their players. Every game is a final from now till the end of the season. So definitely, because of that, Inter Milan also are also fighting because it's a tight race now in the Serie A.
Yeah.
They lost to Bologna, and that made them level on points. With Napoli. Yeah. They are only above them by goal difference. Yeah. So it's a very tight race. Both the two sides, they are fighting on both fronts. They are all fighting to win all the treble. Don't forget, Inter Milan also are in the final of the Italian Cup. Yeah. So definitely it's a very, very tight race, and anything can happen. But if I'm going to go by any score line, I think due to the fact that Barcelona are going to play the first leg in front of their own fan. Yes, at home. I'll go by a 2-1 win.
Please remind me, I would like us to also look at the advantage, the home advantage thing. It really works. Go ahead.
Yeah, currently in the Champions League, before there was that Champions League home advantage. The goals you scored you have away from home give you an advantage. For example, I win you 3-1. In my own ground. Yes. And you go, if I beat you 2-0, it's okay.
Yeah.
Although the aggregate is no longer like that. So the home advantage is there because the fans will be by your side and so on and so forth. It takes club with high level of character to just go to your ground. And don't forget, it was only Arsenal during the course of the quarterfinal to win both legs. So Barcelona won first leg and lost second leg. Inter Milan won first leg and drew second leg. So I'm going for a 2-1 win in favor of Barcelona in the first leg.
Okay, but before we go on to the winning part, I'm looking at it from this angle. Both teams in their last meetings, 12 games, if we want to use history as a yardstick, Barcelona has won 6 of those games. 6 of those games they have won, and then they drew 4. And then lost 2. Now, judging by that, you could easily want to give it to Barcelona to say, okay, Barcelona will edge out Inter Milan. But looking at it again, Inter Milan on their own in the last 12 games have had 8 clean sheets. 8 beautiful clean sheets. So if we keep talking about...
But is it domestic, that 8 clean sheet? Because they conceded 2 goals against Bayern Munich.
Both in all competitions. Okay. 8 clean sheets in all competitions.
But not consecutive.
In all, they
conceded 2 goals against Bayern Munich in the Champions League.
I said 8 games in 12. They had clean sheets.
Okay, 18, 12, I get.
So now, if they could keep clean sheets in 8 games, my mind tells me that, in all sincerity, if Barcelona does not do all the good work at Camp Nou, they should just forget about getting to the finals of the Champions League, because these guys have a good home record.
Definitely. That's why I said it will be a very tight game, and I'm giving Barcelona just a 2-1 win, a very tight one, because
I'm saying
I consider the fact that Inter Milan have a very formidable defense, but you can't overlook the attacking line of Barcelona. Barcelona have a very dangerous attack, if not the most dangerous attack in the whole of Europe currently, based on current form. So it's the game of attack versus defense, and I think Barcelona will edge it.
I just hope Inter Milan will not place their eyes solely on
Yamal or
Rafinha, because there's this deadly guy too somewhere in the midfield of
Ferran Torres. Okay, in the middle of the pitch they have Pedro and what's that? The name of that Dutch guy? That I forget his name. Manchester United even going for him.
Is it Højlund? No.
I forget his name.
I'm not sure, but but I think it's Højlund. But I don't want to give it wrong.
Højlund is Manchester United attacker. He's a Danish player.
No, he's a Danish player. So let me not misquote. All right. So basically, he has said Barcelona will edge out Inter Milan by 2-1. Me, I'm looking at it from the angle of maybe a slim 1-0 win, because personally, I'm looking at it that it may be difficult for them to put 2 past. Yes, Arsenal was able. What's the last game now? Bayern Munich was able to put 2 past Inter Milan, and I think that was because Inter Milan probably did not cover their tracks, and Bayern was all out. They too wanted to play all defense. Play an all-out attack, and unfortunately, they didn't keep their guards well. I'm seeing a slim 1-0 victory for Barcelona, but I hope and pray that they're able to recover in the second leg. Now, let's go to the big one that concerns your club. It has to do with Arsenal and PSG. Now, these are 2 teams that have not won
the Champions
League at all. You have always said that you preferred a PSG to Aston Villa, and now fate has dashed you your demands, PSG. So how do you think you can pull through PSG, bearing in mind that these guys are responsible for the elimination of 2 English clubs? Yeah,
definitely. They played against 3 English sides this season in the Champions League.
Yeah, they
played against Arsenal. They eliminated Liverpool in the round of 16 and eliminated Aston Villa in the round of in the quarterfinal. So actually eliminating...
Is it not something for Arsenal to worry about, knowing that these guys were all the same groups from the EPL?
Yeah, like sentiment aside, today I want to do with like fear judgment, without any iota of sentiment in me. You can't overlook the fact that currently PSG is the most informed side in the whole of Europe, not only in Champions League. In this season, throughout, they lost only 2 games. They are playing unbeaten in the Serie A, in the League One. They lost only to Aston Villa, their second leg, and to Liverpool. They won the overall game, by the way. So they are in a superb form. Arsenal, no, they lost 3. The one was against Arsenal. First, in the
league phase.
The league phase of the Champions League. So they are clearly in a superb form. And the question is, the PSG that Arsenal played, what changed? Yes, clearly you can cite it. You can cite it like the change. Barcola is doing fantastically well now. Vitinha and Naves have a chemistry, like they are fluent now in the midfield and flourishing. Looking at the attack, Ousmane Dembele is on form. He's hitting Kvaratskhelia that they signed during January transfer. He's a fantastic player. He can cause havoc at any time. And so looking at any side, Donnarumma, some people argue that he's the best goalkeeper in the Champions League so far. So definitely they have everything. And they have one of the best defense, I think, still on still. With the likes of Hakimi, Ashraf Hakimi, and Nuno Mendes, one of the fastest fullback currently in Europe. So they can cause havoc. Arsenal definitely will dominate the game on position. But the pressure, the praises from PSG shouldn't be overlooked. And you see Arsenal gets a very tough mist in Thomas Partey in the midfield. Who is going to play that midfield role? Who is going to play that number 6 role? Clearly, Arsenal have a lot of options. But that option will either give them an edge or will bring them back. They can play Rice as that number 6. Bring back Marino to play number 8 role and Odegaard as number 10. They can still play Miles Lewis Kelly because his natural position is that midfield. Play as a number 6 while Rice play number 8 and Odegaard number 10. They can also play Zinchenko in that position of number 8, bringing back Rice. So they have a lot of options. And you think of the centre forward. We have watched a couple of times, even the last, not the last game, the game we played against Ipswich. Arsenal played Trossard as a false 9 and he scored 2 goals. That means we can still play, have an attacking trio of Martinelli, Martinelli, Saka, and Trossard in that front 3. So anything can happen in the game also. PSG played 4 semifinals of 5 of the recent 5 semifinals. That shows the commitment and hunger
the one
for
that
Champions
annoyed me
League.
the most in their semifinal playings, I think it was the one they played against was it Inter now? I don't want to mix things up. But that was where you have faith that PSG were going to was it Atletico Madrid now?
In which year?
That was like 3 seasons ago.
They played a couple of Champions League semifinals. There is the most recent one. The most recent one they played against Borussia Dortmund last season.
No, that was last season.
Yes, and they got eliminated. And they played final against PSG against Bayern Munich. That they lost, and that was the only final. They and Arsenal play only one final Champions League. They only reached one Champions League final in their history, and considering the record. Hate record. Arsenal have a better record against them. Arsenal won all the 8 previous 6 or 8 meeting between the two sides. Arsenal won all. Arsenal won 4. Arsenal never lose. That's what I know. Among the two sides. So considering that form and the hunger for Champions League title, and also their manager. Their manager is a proven manager. He won treble in Barcelona. He was the last manager to win Champions League in Barcelona, Enrique. So definitely he has the experience. Arsenal are going there, and they won League 1. By the way, they don't have any pressure on their shoulders. They won it with a landslide margin already. So they have. That's why some people are saying anyone that won between Arsenal and PSG in that bracket will definitely win the Champions League because they have least pressure on their shoulder. So they are playing their first leg against Arsenal in front of Arsenal fans at the Emirates in London. So I'm predicting a 2-0 win to Arsenal in favor of Arsenal because Arsenal will. I'm not seeing Arsenal losing in front of their own fans. And if Arsenal win 2-0, and Arsenal have the most strongest defense in Europe. They conceded only 6 goals in 12 matches.
But is the game they played against Crystal Palace that they drew 2-2, is it anything to go by? Should they give the Arsenal fans anything to worry about?
No, I'm not saying it like that. Before our first league match against Real Madrid, we drew a game in Premier League. And we witnessed a couple of times that winning Champions League doesn't necessarily mean that you are the best team in Premier League. When Chelsea won Champions League 2021, they finished where? 5th in Premier League. When Chelsea won their first Champions League in Munich 2012, they finished where? 6th in the Premier League table. So most of the Champions League title that Liverpool have, they won it when they were outside of the top 4. So clearly winning Premier League winning clubs in Premier League. And by the way, everybody knows that Arsenal are not going to win Premier League. Liverpool are just 1 point mathematically to win a winning Premier League.
Won it already.
So they have won it. Arsenal are not stressing themselves. We know we're going to finish either second or third. This one is clear. Yeah. The worst it could be is finishing third. Arsenal finishing third. Yeah. So they don't have any pressure. And 5 clubs are going to play in the next year's Champions League. So definitely Arsenal are not giving their effort much in Premier League. They know they are not going to get any medal past silver medal, and they are not going to get any medal worse than bronze medal in the Premier League. So why give it our own effort? They are focused on the Champions League.
Well, I'm sure Arsenal would love to have number 1 in the Champions League, since they are not having number 1 in the local scene, which is the English Premier League. There's this song by Nelly, I can't remember his name now, but Nelly says, what does it take to be number 1? 2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers. And it be like saying, not true. When did Sling finish now for EPL? Nobody will remember. Say Arsenal come second. Now who carry first? And they will remember. So Arsenal will definitely do a lot of work to be the number 1 in the UEFA Champions League. So we want to thank Prophet Alaji, unapologetic Arsenal fan, Ibrahim.
The title done too much.
Don't let you collect now. We did dash you all of them. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And we want to believe that you enjoyed the analysis that Prophet Ibrahim did to, spice up the show with. And then we believe that you're also ready for the 4 games that will begin on the 29th and 30th of April, Tuesday and Wednesday to be precise. Until we come your way again with another edition of DDM Sports Central, I remain your hosts with the Sparks. Do have a lovely and sporty day ahead. Bye for now.